Hey, it's Confessions of a Doctorholic with Hassa Slayman, and I've had so many friends who are mums or soon to be mums who want to pursue medicine. And my mum did her postgrad studies while I was 3, I reckon. Let's just say I heard all the time about how I stole people's printouts and signed them like a rock star. So I've got Aisha, third-year medical student, full-time mum, and you work on the weekend.
A part-time pharmacist.
It's amazing. So how are you?
Well, my daughter has colic, so I've been going through a lot of sleepless nights at the moment, and I'm trying to juggle revising because I have an exam. And then I've been trying to work on the side as well, so I'm kind of juggling everything at the moment.
Wild. So when did you become a mum?
So I became a mum age 24. I'm going to have to reveal my age now. I'm actually 26 now. So my daughter will be 2 in August. And I've recently had a newborn.
Wow.
And she was born 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so you first became a mum 2 years ago, and then now you've got another child. That's amazing.
I do, yeah.
And when did you decide you wanted to pursue medicine?
So initially, I wanted to do medicine aged 18, which was to apply straight to university from college, but things just didn't work out. I then went on to do a different degree, and I realized I still wanted to do medicine after that. It just came to the point where I'd have to decide if I was going to have a family after medicine, where I would be a lot older than everyone else, or to just do it whilst I'm studying.
And is there a reason why you decided to do medicine like later on and do pharmacy first, or like was it just like by chance?
So I decided after I applied the first time round, I didn't get in, that I would do pharmacy because it was a career that was linked to medicine, but also I would have a job afterwards if things didn't go as planned. And then when I applied again, I got into medicine, and I thought, well, I can do both things at the moment. I can work on the side as a pharmacist, and I can study medicine at the same time.
Yeah, that's very wise. And that's something, like when people ask me like what could you have done differently back in the day, and I honestly would have picked something that wasn't biomedical science, because I feel like with biomed, like, I mean, it helped with all the medical stuff, and I feel like I've learned so much, but then at the same time, I feel like you don't have a career afterwards in a way. Like, you work in a lab, and at that stage, I mean, I was 18, I had no idea. Like, I kind of thought, okay, the lab of life, like, I can make it work and whatever. And then I ended up working for a radio station, which is like completely random, but yeah.
I actually had the same option. So at age 18, it was either biomedical science or pharmacy. And I decided that because of the fact that here in the UK, there's not a lot of jobs that are available to biomedical scientists, I decided to just go with pharmacy because it was just really a safety net kind of thing. But I find that it's really helped with my actual medical degree at the moment.
100%.
Yeah, everyone always complains about pharmacology, but I think I'm the only one who actually enjoys
You're
it.
just like, I've got this down.
Yeah, I feel like I've done it for 5 years now, so it's kind of in my brain.
You should probably lecture at school at this point.
Yeah, I do feel like sometimes some of my peers ask me if I can break down a subject a lot easier than what the lecturers are doing, and I find that I'm constantly doing that on WhatsApp.
Oh my God, that's amazing. And what led you to this decision of like having a family while you're studying medicine?
So I did a lot of research into the medical school, how supportive they'd be, what the timetable would be like, what the holidays would be like, would I be able to fit in having kids with studying. And they say it takes a village to be able to do that, and I've had quite a lot of support from my family and from my husband. And then I decided that I would just go for it and see how things pan out, and so far they've been okay.
That's absolutely amazing. And what kind of support have you had from uni?
So when I found out I was pregnant with my second daughter, I had to email the university to let them know, and they just made my life a lot easier. They gave me placements that were closer to home, so I wouldn't have to commute too far. If we were going to go on to do the actual exams, I would be given a nice comfortable place to sit, somewhere closer to the bathroom. They just tried to make things a lot easier for me.
That's lovely, and that's really good. I'm so glad that they gave you that support.
I was also given counselling as well in case I needed it, like if I felt too stressed. But I felt like I was really supported, which was really nice.
That's nice. How do you balance medical school with 2 kids? Like, in terms of study, in terms of, like, everything, you know, like, because you know what it's like and how intense it is to be in medical school.
I think the best way I can describe it is having to be thoroughly organized, like to the point where you're micromanaging as much as you can. But then the issue with having children is you have to plan around them and not yourself. So in the mornings, I plan around taking my daughters to nursery. And then after they've settled in at nursery, I then go to my lectures. And in between the time that they're at nursery, I will try and catch up with any work that I have. And then when I collect them from nursery, then life is revolving around everything that they're doing at home. And that's usually until they're in bed, which is about 8 p.m. And anything after 8 p.m. allows me to catch up on any studying or any housework that I have. Often it runs out into being late at midnight that I get things done. And then again, having to wake up at 7 to get everyone to get to nursery again.
Wow.
I think it just takes a lot of organization, but then also determination.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like you're like skimping on sleep, or there are any things that you can't do because you've got kids?
I definitely feel like I've missed out on a lot of the actual societies where people are invited to come over the weekends to participate in societal events, and I'm unable to go because my husband is working or I've got both kids and I can't really get involved on that kind of level. Other than that, I don't feel like I'm missing out on any.
And do you ever practice on your kids? Because, you know, we've got Oskies.
Yeah. I've tried practicing on my daughter. She's just too wiggly, like she just won't stop.
So cute.
But I've tried auscultating. So I've done the chest examination on her. She was quite good. She just sat down. But anything other than that is just, it gets to the point where she's just running away.
You know, we study about like pregnancy and study about children. We study about so many different things. Has there been any moment where you had like a total freak out, or like, you know, you were just like looking at your kids and you're like, oh my God, like, you know, like you're sort of like reviewing your life and going like, oh my God, so many things could have gone wrong?
So my daughter, the second one, was actually due the time where I was supposed to have my final exams. And I just thought to myself, this is the silliest thing I've clearly ever done, because I don't know how I'll sit my exams at 40 weeks pregnant. And I just thought to myself at that moment in time, I really couldn't think about how things were going to be. And then when COVID came and all these exams and everything else were cancelled, it kind of laid off the pressure in that aspect. But then again, I've now got a newborn and I need to study for my exam. So I do sometimes think maybe that it might not have been the best of choices, but we have to just really go with the cards that we've been dealt at this
And honestly,
point.
I feel like it's kind of a blessing in disguise. Like, you know, I mean, the coronavirus, obviously, it's not great, and there's so many things that have happened and so many difficulties and whatever. But like, in some ways, we have had more time to spend like with our family and, you know, those things. So I just feel like sometimes it's a weird way of putting it, but sometimes it can also be a blessing in disguise.
I really feel so. I feel like it's given me a lot of bonding time with my toddler before the new baby came. It gave me just a break from everything that was going on, and being heavily pregnant, I think for me it was really a blessing in disguise.
Wow, I'm still shocked at the fact that you were going to have your newborn during final exam. Like, I feel like I'm one of those people that stresses way too much. And I would be...
Yeah. I think I was more worried about the actual OSCE at 40 weeks pregnant. I'm not sure how I'd be able to bend down or actually carry out any examinations with a huge bump, but I don't think I thought it out that far.
I'm so glad that worked out for you. Okay, so what would you say was the biggest challenge during med school, like, so far?
I think the biggest challenge would probably have been sometimes, again, like my recent daughter has colic and reflux, and so when a child is ill, it's completely out of your control. Everything you've planned goes out the window, and if this happens near exam times, you have no control over it, and it just adds to the added stress of everything that's going on. And sometimes you have to just put down your books and just look after your baby.
And do you feel like people treat you differently at medical school?
I actually do. So whenever I've told anyone I've had kids, they always seem apprehensive to work with me. Like, oh, she might be a bit of a liability. She might cancel last minute. She might be too preoccupied with the kids. She might not give enough attention to the work. And I've always found that I do prove them wrong in the end, but they always have this misconception that I'm far too occupied with what my kids are doing and I don't have enough time to dedicate to the actual work that I've
And
been
what
given.
would you say to those people if they're listening to the podcast right now?
So I would say to those people, I actually, since having kids, I've acquired a lot more different types of skills. So I probably can do a lot of the things that we've been given at a really good pace, and probably have such a lateral thinking of things that we'd get the things done really well. But people just seem to have this idea that if you're a mom, you just don't have time to focus on anything other than your kids.
Which is kind of weird, because like, I don't know, like the way I see it, it's amazing because like you're a full-time mum and you're also a full-time student.
Well, I feel like, again, with children, you can't really plan around what happens with them if they're, for example, if they're ill. If you've dedicated a whole day to a revision, it's likely you'll only have an hour. So if someone is going to spend 8 hours on a topic, I only have probably 2 hours to spend on that topic. So I have to do less procrastination and more actual work.
That makes sense. And have you ever like regretted your choice of like getting into med or like having kids? Like, I know that's such a personal question, but have you ever regretted anything?
I don't think so. I feel like they've really added to my mental health, as in they've added to my mental well-being. I feel like the at the end of the day, the best part of my day is actually coming home to collect them from nursery, spend time with them, and after that, get back to studying. So for me, whilst I am a medical student and I look forward to going to lectures, I feel like I look forward more to coming home and spending time with my children and then getting back to my lectures.
Yeah, that's so cute. So they make a good study break, I guess.
They really do. So I have like an hour of study and then like 15 minutes of playing or reading a book with them or like doing something creative, and it just gives me a good break in between. So I feel like they have really added to my overall positive aspect of mental health.
All right, so what's your biggest advice for mums wanting to pursue medicine or mums in medical school?
I think my biggest advice would be not to shy away from, if you really feel like you want to be a mum or you're planning on having a child at medical school, is to find out all your options, find out how supportive the staff at the medical school will be, find out what your timetable is like. If you also need a lot of support, as in family wise, so if that's available. And then if you want to have a child at medical school, it is doable. It will be hard, like you do need to take that into consideration, but it can be done. So there's no point in shying away from it. If that's something you really want, it can be done.
All right, sweet. If we want to follow you, where can we do that?
My Instagram handle is the.medicmama, and I just post about like just being a mom, being a medical student, being a pharmacist. It's really just a blog of my everyday life.
Well, that's amazing. There you go, guys. Feel free to DM Aisha there and share with us your thoughts. Have you had a child in medical school? What do you feel? What were your biggest challenges? Bye-bye.